What is the controversy about the alarm system?
So that was the question, was like, Hawaii has a state-of-the-art alarm system. We are the most remote island chain in the world. And as a result, natural disasters is kind of a part of life. Tsunamis or hurricanes,
that's what made it big.
Flooding or whatever the case may be.
We have the best, right? We're supposed to have the best.
They were not sounded because of these fires. And that was the number one question. Why wouldn't you sound the alarm system? We had to wait until 8 or 9 days after when he came out to this press conference and he was asked, do you regret not sounding the alarms? Because they weren't broken. They worked. And he said, I don't regret it. And the reason is because, he says, we have been trained as people, when we hear the alarm, we believe that a tsunami is coming. And we have been trained to know that if a tsunami is coming, you head towards the hills. You head away from the ocean and towards the mountains. That is such bullshit.
Somebody told them that line. That's the best line you can come with.
BJ, you know this because we all get the alarms on our phones.
Yep.
Say, hey, there was an earthquake near Japan.
Yep.
Tsunami may come to Hawaii in 3 days or 4 days. Be aware. And we got all of our geologists and all these people. They're tracking this. We have, like, a tsunami doesn't pop up out of nowhere. That's something that we have. So if that alarm sounds and we haven't gotten that notice, there's something else.
When we would know like this, there's something
was
else.
Smoke.
You just
like
look at the ocean.
Couldn't they send an alarm to your phones that said there's a fire?
Yes. Yes.
You know, I don't know if he was,
So what happened with the water? There was also some controversy about the water not being utilized.
I think the power went down and then the water pumps went down from what
So the power did go out for a little while. According to the electric company, the power was restored and was not connected to the water
so you got
release. But I mean, the short answer to the long history of water battles in Maui County is going back to the plantation days when corporations essentially took ownership of the water. So, you know, it's the Native Hawaiian system of the Ahupua'a is you have the mountains, rainfall comes, streams, you have this natural ecosystem of waterways that go from the top of the mountains out to the ocean. And Hawaii's agriculture systems and wetlands and fish ponds, everything was built around that. These corporations came in, took over and literally took ownership of the water on Maui in many, not all of it, but most of it, and started diverting those streams so that the water fed directly into their lands, plantations, and then ag land, and then now very wealthy landowners, golf courses, resorts, etc. But the effect of that was places like Lahaina that was traditionally a wetland. It was called the Venice of Maui. It was lush. There were fish ponds and farms and all of this stuff. Because of that water diversion, it's like a desert there now, which is why these wildfires keep happening. And traditional farming communities and Native Hawaiian lands were bled dry because the water was diverted to private corporations. So fast forward to how did that impact the fires?
Sorry, what year did that happen? Around?
I mean, this was
1800s, 1850s.
Yeah. This was But
the big five, the Hui Nui, the big five you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. The big five plantation owners that came in. But the problem has compounded generation after generation after generation. And so firefighters didn't have access to water when they needed it to effectively try to fight these fires. There was a hurricane winds, and so obviously it grew and spread like a blowtorch across the town of Lahaina. But even in the other, in upcountry Maui and Kula, when I went up and talked to some of the residents up there who also saw, it was like almost 600 acres that were burned through. Homes were burned down, and they were trying to help each other. Neighbors were trying to help each other because you see, okay, hey, there's fires starting. Let's all get our hoses and turn on the water and try to do what we can until the firefighters get here. They turned on their hoses, and it was just dribbles of water. And so literally they're going and like scooping water out of their toilet bowls and like, oh gosh, there's a little bit of water like from the last time it rained stuck in like our kid's bucket, like literally getting water from wherever, bottles of water, trying to fight fires in their community to save people's homes.
Watching people dying while that's happening, watching children burn. I was talking to my friend. He was a big part of my campaign. The last campaign, he said, "Hey, BJ, children, animals burning. You trying to fight it with water that you don't have." I mean, you just so many.
And so there was a request.
Right?
There was a request that was put into the state to divert the water so that it could be used to fight the fires. And there was some kind of like 6 or 8 hour delay before that decision was made. And I don't know the answer yet as to what that delay was. But the fact that the people of Maui don't have control over their own water is exactly the problem, both in this crisis, but on a daily basis, where families are told, hey, you know, countywide, there's a drought right now. Everybody needs to conserve water. You know, you got to be limited with don't wash your car and all this other stuff. But meanwhile, they go and drive through one of these resorts and they see all the sprinklers on for the golf courses, and they see no restrictions whatsoever in the hotels. And it's no wonder why people there are like, what the heck is going on here? You guys really only care about these resorts, but you don't actually care about the fact that a mother can't bathe her child because of the water restrictions.
It's insane.
It is. It is
insane.
literally the
been like
definition of
this.
insane.
It's always been like
It's
this?
always been like
These
this.
battles have been-
The golf course sends their fertilizers into the water, then affecting the fish like Kona and different things.
God.
It's always been this.
And so this is the thing is like, so how do we solve this? I mean, this has been a generations long battle for the right to water, which is the one thing that every living thing needs to survive.
Yeah.
Water. And the people there are fighting for that right to their own water.